Tom Brady is the most hated winner in the history of the NFL. Not disliked, not criticized, genuinely, deeply, passionately hated by millions of fans across the country for over 2 decades. And here is what makes that so insane. The man won 7 Super Bowls. More than any player who has ever lived. More than any franchise in NFL history. But despite all of that, half the country spent every Sunday hoping he would fail. So how did the greatest quarterback of all time become the most hated player the NFL has ever seen? And how did he keep winning anyway? Well, to find out, we have to go all the way back to San Mateo, California, in the early 1990s. Tom Brady grew up a San Francisco 49ers fan, idolizing Joe Montana, dreaming about the NFL the way every kid in America dreams about the NFL. But the NFL was not dreaming about Tom Brady. When he got to Junipero Serra High School, Brady didn't play a single snap as a freshman. He sat the bench as a backup on a team that went 0-8 without scoring a single touchdown all year. Most kids walk away from that. Brady just kept coming back. By his junior year, he had earned the starting job. By his senior year, he was drawing real attention. But the thing that truly made scouts notice him wasn't football at all. It was baseball. Brady was a left-handed hitting catcher with a cannon for an arm. And he was so good that the Montreal Expos drafted him in the 18th round of the 1995 MLB draft straight out of high school. A guaranteed professional contract, real money, a clear future, and Brady turned it down. Football was all he ever wanted. But football didn't make it easy for him. He had no Division I scholarship offers coming out of high school. None. He sent out highlight tapes to over 100 colleges, and most of them never even called back. Eventually, Michigan took a chance on him. But when Brady showed up in Ann Arbor, he was 7th on the quarterback depth chart. 7th. He redshirted his freshman year, barely touched a football in practice, and spent 2 full years watching from the sideline while Brian Grease led the Wolverines to a national championship. Brady later said of that stretch, "I was 18 years old and I just had to figure out how bad I wanted it. And the answer turned out to be very, very bad. Instead of transferring, instead of walking away, he did everything he could to get better. Film study. Throwing every single day, working with a sports psychologist to sharpen his mind. And when his chance finally came as a junior starter, Michigan's coaches still weren't fully sold. They kept rotating him with freshman phenom Drew Henson, a 5-star recruit who was supposed to be the future of the program. Brady walked into his coach's office and said flat out, "I am not leaving. I am going to prove to you that I am the best quarterback on this team." He delivered on that promise. Over 2 seasons as the starter, Brady went 20-5, led 10 comeback wins, and closed out his college career with one of the great performances in Orange Bowl history. 369 yards and 4 touchdowns in an overtime win over Alabama. But after all of that, after everything he had fought through just to prove himself in Ann Arbor, NFL scouts still weren't impressed. The pre-draft scouting report on Brady was almost embarrassing to read. Poor build, skinny, lacks physical stature, lacks mobility, lacks a strong arm. Can't drive the ball downfield. System-type player who gets exposed under pressure. Reading that, you'd think they were describing someone who had no business being on an NFL roster. And the draft proved it. Brady sat there on draft day and watched, and watched, and watched. 6 quarterbacks went before him. Chad Pennington, Giovanni Carmazzi, Chris Redman, T. Martin, Mark Bulger, Spurgeon Wynn. Some teams didn't even have his name on their board. And finally, in the 6th round, with the 199th overall pick, the New England Patriots called his name. 7th quarterback taken. 198 players deemed more valuable. Brady later said that when the Patriots called, he was just relieved he wouldn't have to become an insurance salesman. He walked into New England's training camp as the 4th-string quarterback behind starter Drew Bledsoe, who had just signed a 10-year, $103 million contract. Brady had no realistic shot at seeing the field. His own agent thought he was out of his mind when Brady called him 2 weeks into camp and said he wanted to buy a house. His agent said, "Wait until you make the team." Brady told him not to worry about it. He knew something nobody else did. By the end of his rookie season, Brady had climbed to 2nd on the depth chart behind Bledsoe, still not expected to play anytime soon. And then, in week 2 of the 2001 season, everything changed. Bledsoe took a brutal hit from Jets linebacker Mo Lewis, and suffered internal bleeding that nearly cost him his life. And just like that, the Patriots had no choice but to turn to their unknown backup. Brady said of that moment, "I know Drew would love to be out here playing. It's my job to step in and pick up where he left off." He wasn't spectacular. He wasn't making anyone's jaw drop. But what he did do was manage games, protect the football, make smart decisions, and win. After starting 0-2, New England went 11-3 with Brady under center. His confidence grew with every game, every drive, every moment the pressure got higher. Then came his first playoff game, and one of the most controversial moments in NFL history. Brady's Patriots trailed the Oakland Raiders 13-10 with under 2 minutes left in a New England blizzard. He dropped back to pass. Raiders cornerback Charles Woodson came flying off the edge and drilled Brady, knocking the ball loose. The Raiders swarmed it. Game over, season over. Or so everyone thought. After a long review, the officials announced Brady's arm was moving forward. Incomplete pass, not a fumble. The tuck rule. The Raiders were furious. Half the country thought it was a scandal. Brady just shrugged. He marched New England down the field, tied it with a field goal, then won it in overtime. After taking out Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship, Brady and the Patriots walked into Super Bowl 36 as 14-point underdogs against the greatest show on turf, Kurt Warner's high-powered St. Louis Rams. And Brady played mistake-free football the entire night. With a minute and 30 seconds left, and the game tied 17-17, he drove the Patriots into field goal range, and Adam Vinatieri split the uprights as time expired. Patriots 20, Rams 17. Brady, at just 24 years old, was the youngest quarterback in NFL history to win a Super Bowl. That should have been the moment everyone fell in love with him. The underdog nobody wanted, beating the team nobody could stop, on the biggest stage in football. But that is not how it played out, because Brady kept winning. And when you keep winning, you stop being the underdog. And when you stop being the underdog, the world starts looking for ways to tear you down. The Patriots won the Super Bowl again after the 2003 season, then again after 2004. 3 Super Bowl titles in 4 years. And what started as admiration across the country slowly curdled into resentment. People outside New England started looking at the Patriots and seeing arrogance, dominance dressed up as invincibility. Belichick in his hoodie, saying nothing. Brady, polished and perfect, married to a supermodel, endorsing everything, seemingly untouched by the normal problems that bring everyone else down. Fans didn't just want Brady to lose anymore. They needed it. And then in 2007, they got their ammunition. In Week 1 of the 2007 season, New England was caught videotaping the New York Jets' defensive signals from their own sideline, a direct violation of league rules. Commissioner Roger Goodell fined Bill Belichick $500,000, the largest fine ever levied against an NFL coach. The Patriots organization was fined another $250,000 and stripped of their first-round draft pick in 2008. Spygate had arrived. Brady was never directly implicated, but he was the quarterback. He was the face. And for every fan who had spent years resenting the Patriots dynasty, it was exactly what they had suspected all along. They were cheaters. Now it was official, but the Patriots went 16-0 that season anyway. Brady threw 50 touchdown passes and won the NFL MVP award. The first team in the Super Bowl era to go through the entire regular season undefeated, and the hatred reached a volume the NFL had never seen. Then came Super Bowl 42 against the New York Giants. New England was favored by 12 points. They were 18-0. Nobody gave the Giants a chance. And with the Patriots leading 14-10 late in the fourth quarter, it looked like history was going to be made. Then Eli Manning scrambled out of what should have been a sack, stumbled forward and launched a deep ball down the middle of the field. David Tyree caught it by pressing the ball against his helmet with a defender hanging off him. The helmet catch, one of the most shocking plays in NFL history. A few moments later, Plaxico Burress caught a touchdown. Giants 17, Patriots 14. Brady had one last chance, but the final pass fell incomplete. The perfect season was gone. The whole country celebrated. Billboards went up, parties were thrown. People who had never cared about the Giants put on Giants jerseys. Because it wasn't really about the Giants. It was about finally seeing Brady lose. But would that be enough to stop him? The answer was no. Brady returned from a torn ACL in 2009 and won Comeback Player of the Year. By 2010, he was throwing 36 touchdowns against just 4 interceptions, winning his second NFL MVP. The dynasty was alive again. And with it, so was the resentment. Then in January 2015, everything exploded. The Patriots beat the Indianapolis Colts 45-7 in the AFC Championship game. A comfortable win, and then a few days later, reports surfaced that the Patriots footballs used during that game were underinflated, below the legal air pressure limit set by the league. Deflategate. The NFL launched an investigation. Attorney Ted Wells published his findings, that it was more probable than not that Patriots personnel had deliberately tampered with the footballs, and that Brady was, in his words, generally aware of it. That phrase, generally aware, was enough. Brady was suspended 4 games. The Patriots were fined $1 million and stripped of a first-round and a fourth-round draft pick. Brady appealed the suspension, won in district court, then lost in the Federal Court of Appeals, and ultimately served his 4 games to start the 2016 season. He denied everything. He said he had nothing to do with any of it. He destroyed his cell phone during the investigation and explained it was just his normal habit of getting a new phone when switching carriers. Nobody outside of New England believed a word of it. An ABC News poll found that 76% of self-described NFL fans supported the league's decision to suspend him. 76%. 3 out of every 4 football fans in America thought he was guilty. And then he came back from the suspension and he did the most Tom Brady thing he could possibly do. He won the Super Bowl by coming back from 28-3 down. Super Bowl 51 against the Atlanta Falcons is still the defining moment of Brady's career. The Patriots trailed by 25 points in the third quarter. No team in Super Bowl history had ever even come close to overcoming that kind of deficit. Falcons fans were already celebrating. People were leaving the stadium. The game was over. And then Brady went to work. Methodical, calm, patient. The same way he had approached every adversity his entire life. Drive by drive, he picked Atlanta apart. He finished with a Super Bowl record 466 yards. The Patriots scored 31 unanswered points. They tied it and won it in overtime, 34-28. Brady was named Super Bowl MVP for the 4th time, his 5th ring. Owner Robert Kraft said afterward, "I've never seen anything like that game, not in 50 years of football." Brady just smiled. He had seen it coming all along. The haters had no answer for it. Some turned off their televisions. Some said the game was fixed. Some quietly admitted they had just watched a 39-year-old man pull off the single greatest performance in the history of the championship game. But still they came for him. And Brady was not done. In 2020, at 42 years old, Brady made the most unexpected decision of his career. He left the Patriots. He left Belichick. He left New England and signed with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, a team that had not made the playoffs since 2007 and had not won a playoff game since 2002. The reaction was immediate. Analysts laughed. Fans said he was finished. The narrative was set. Brady needed Belichick. Without the system, without the hoodie, without New England, we would finally see who Brady really was. Brady led Tampa to an 11-5 record in year 1. Then he took them on 3 straight road playoff wins against Washington, New Orleans, and Green Bay. Then he walked into Super Bowl 55 against Patrick Mahomes and the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs and won 31-9. At 43 years old, 7th ring, 5th Super Bowl MVP, first player in history to win a Super Bowl with 2 different franchises as the starting quarterback. The system quarterback argument was dead. He had killed it himself. At 44, Brady threw for a career-high 5,316 yards and 43 touchdowns, leading the league in both categories. He was the oldest player ever to be named to the Pro Bowl. He was the oldest quarterback to throw for over 5,000 yards in a single season. He was still, at 44 years old, better than almost everyone else on the field. Brady retired for good after the 2022 season. And when the final numbers were counted, they told a story nobody has ever matched. 89,214 career passing yards, 649 touchdown passes, 35 playoff wins, 7 Super Bowl rings, 5 Super Bowl MVPs, 3 NFL MVP awards, 15 Pro Bowl selections. He made 10 Super Bowl appearances in 23 seasons, and he never played a single snap when his team was mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. Not once. In 23 years. So why did so many people hate him so much? Part of it was the winning. America loves an underdog, and Brady stopped being one the moment he lifted that first Lombardi trophy at 24 years old. After that, rooting for Brady felt like rooting for the casino. Nobody roots for the casino. Part of it was the controversies. The Tuck Rule, Spygate, Deflategate. Every chapter of Brady's dominance came wrapped in something that gave his critics permission to dismiss what they were watching. It was easier to call him a cheater than to admit they were watching someone they might never see again. Part of it was envy. 7 Super Bowls, a supermodel wife, generational wealth, a face that belonged on a movie poster. It was too much for some people to accept that one man could have all of it, so they chose hate instead. But here is the thing about Tom Brady that his haters never fully reckoned with. He was never handed a single thing. Not in high school, where he sat the bench for 2 years on an 0-8 team. Not at Michigan, where he was 7th on the depth chart. Not in the NFL draft, where 198 players were taken before him. Not in 2008 when he tore his ACL and had to rebuild from scratch. Not in 2016 when the league suspended him and the whole world declared him finished. He earned everything. Every ring, every record, every moment. Against every team in the league, in every era, at every age. Brady's longtime receiver Julian Edelman once said it best. "I don't think people understand what it takes to do what he does every single week, every year, for 23 years. Nobody will. You gave him your hate. You booed him in every stadium. You celebrated every loss like a personal victory. You called him a cheater, a fraud, a product of the system, an old man who needed to retire. And Tom Brady took every last bit of it and turned it into 7 Super Bowl rings. That is why he is the most hated winner in NFL history. And that is exactly why he is the greatest." And look, if you want to argue Brady was the greatest, the numbers are there. 89,214 passing yards, 649 touchdowns, more playoff wins than any coach, any player, any franchise, ever. But it is not the numbers that made him the most hated. Numbers do not make people hate you. Winning makes people hate you. Winning over and over, cleanly and confidently while smiling at the camera, while looking like nothing in the world can touch you. That is what made people hate Tom Brady. Because deep down, underneath all the boos and the anger and the Deflategate theories, most people hated Tom Brady for the same reason. He reminded them of something they did not want to admit, that some people are just built differently, that some people take the rejection and the doubt and the embarrassment and use every single piece of it to become something the world has never seen before. Tom Brady was the 190th pick. He was the backup. He was the guy nobody wanted. And he became the greatest winner in the history of American professional football. Love him or hate him, and most of you hate him, you will never see another one like him. If you enjoyed this video, stick with this channel. Subscribe and check out some of our other content right here.